Are not you curious to know how they are doing? Of course, you are the most. How could he not guess yet? Seeing similar face like his own, they must be getting along. Yourself just scared how Jungkook will view after knowing the truth of matter. This truth had probably hid it from him for 5 years. Would he be surprised? Sarang, don't be like that. You have to face and deal with this issue. Jenny gritted her teeth. Jenny, it's getting late. Go and prepare to sleep. Don't worry about this matter. You said like elder, but you don't worry. Go back to your room. I want to be alone. Jenny had never seen your this much serious face, like you didn't want her to interfere in your matter. Somehow she's feeling not good. Alright then, I'm not involving. I'm going to my room. She left. You sank on the bed, closing your eyes. But again, you heard cracking sounds of door opening. You were a little helpless, thinking that it might be Jenny. Please don't bother me for a while. There was no response, it's silence. That made you open your eyes again and saw a tall figure stood by the door looking at you. Jungkook. You subconsciously sat up on the bed, looking at him as well, and both eyes met. Neither of two of you spoke a word. However, you could see his eyes turning different than before. There was disappointment, helpless, and all kinds of emotions interwoven in his pitch black eyes. With your trembling heart, you got off from bed and walked in front of him, forcing a smile. He looked at you unfriendly. Is Rowoon still in the living room? I will go and see him. But he blocked your way, Jungkook. I. This is the reason. Why in that you asked me to not investigate you anymore? His voice was low and hoarse that it was extremely difficult to speak. You are now here to hide from this matter now. You knew. He questioned again. In overseas, you were testing me when you asked me those questions, right? You bite your lower lips, unable to speak. He sneered and laughed in self-mockery. You didn't let me investigate you, so this is the reason. 5 years. You hide it from me and you still want to keep hiding it. He suddenly grabbed your wrist. The force was too great that you groaned in pain. Is it fun? Everyone knows, and I am the only one who is kept in the dark like fool. It's not like that. You tried to break free from his grip. If I didn't look for you, then you would never want to see me. You will hide it with my son for the rest of your lives, and I would just be guilt over that night, accusing myself for it. He became irrational, and the fact that you were worried about that he would take your son away before you both get back together. But after that, you begin to worry about his reaction. Indeed, it's disappointed. You looked at the person, wanting to explain it, but his grip was strong on your wrist. It hurts. Let go of me first. You also know pain, he mocked himself. What do you think of me? You frowned. I know you are feeling bad right now, but I didn't mean to hide it from you. I will explain to you. He was silent and slowly loosened his grip. He rubbed your itching wrist. I only have one question that I want to know right now. You looked at him. Go ahead. Jin and Jonghan both know about this. Your heart skipped a beat, not expecting that he would ask such a question. Then your mind drifted to something. Was he trying to compete with Jung Jonghan? You became a little hesitant and said in a low voice, I don't want to lie to you. Jonghan also know. You nodded a little. Probably cause Jonghan saw Rowoon at supermarket and later he investigated but you didn't told him privately. Oh, so you are willing to give up everything? He smiled but it doesn't reach on bottom of his eyes. Instead, it gave people a bone-chilling feeling. There is something wrong on his smile that you panicked and immediately grabbed his sleeve. It is definitely not what you think. He knew after seeing Rowoon I didn't told him. No matter what reason it is, he still knows before I do. And you are with me all the time, but you are not ready to show him to me, right? You are unable to refute his words, and his eyes narrowed fiercely. Gaze became deep, and aura also turned cold. Is that so? You lowered your eyes. It was, but now it's different. Enough. He suddenly interrupted. He wasn't looking angry or anything, and his voice was calm that shocked you. The more he acts like this, you are disappointed. After seeing Rowoon, you are disappointed in me, or you want to fight with me. He didn't say anything. You want to break off with me for that. You asked again. He looked at you. Your facial features were reflected deep in his eyes. I haven't thought about it yet. Your heart sank and face became pale. What do you mean you haven't thought about it yet? That was to say that he will think about it. You grasped the sleeve tightly. The shirt you had ironed previously now had a lot of creases. Jungkook, are you thinking to break up with me? Why? Just because he's your son, so you're not happy? The word breakup made his heart move and his clear eyes are filled with anxiety. It was as if a needle had pierced into his heart. He had never thought of breaking up, even at the moment he knew that you lied to him and hid things with him. He had never thought about this. This woman in front of him was once a woman he could not ask for. You had appeared in his dreams countless times in the past. It was not easy to catch you, so how could he break up with you? But now his heart was in a mess. He slowly raised his hands, then slowly pushed away the small hands that were holding on to his sleeves. No, Jungkook. At first, you thought he would be holding you or something, but when you felt him removing your hands from his sleeve, you tightened your grip even more. He frowned and looked at you. There is a tears in your eyes. He felt a heartache, but at this time, the anger of being deceived was greater than his hurt. At the end, he sighed, let go. I won't. You shook your head. Seeing the tears in your eyes, his heart itched, and he laughed in a low voice, as if he is mocking himself. Are you afraid of losing me one day? Your eyes were full of tears and mystery. It was beautiful. You shook your head. Don't be angry, okay? Things are not really what you think. It was not easy for both of you to get along. Could it be that he would separate from you cause of this matter? Although it was Jungkook who rushed over to you few days, on surface even you don't show much. Your time and heart was always occupied by him. Even though he took initiative, your heart had been approaching him. Moreover, you never stopped loving him. After a long silence, he finally removed your hands and pulled his sleeve away and steps back. Your hands trembled and it felt empty. You looked at him in disbelief. Let me think. His deep eyes were filled with sorrowness. I don't know what to think right now. When you think clearly, are you going to separate from me? This was the clear question from you. He frowned. I never said that. But you are doing it. Rowoon is your child. Isn't it good? I thought even you will be surprised, you will be happy. But I didn't expect. His anger was so great that it covered everything. Did you miscalculate it? Let me think, he said again. You felt like you lost your strength and your body slumped against the wall. Okay, I will give you time to think about it then. Sadly, you closed your eyes. There was no sound in the surroundings. More a while, then you heard movements, then it became silent again. The moment you open your eyes, you are really disappointed and you slowly slide down to sit. Jungkook didn't stood there anymore. He had long gone, leaving you behind. You shed tears silently, looking in the floor, and suddenly you felt something was wrong. Your weak mental state quickly reacted and get up, then walked out. Rowoon, there was only plate and some fruits left on the coffee table. You were stunned and stood there for a few seconds. Where is Rowoon? You rushed and checked your son's room. Ronnie, his room was empty. You checked the bathroom. Where are you, Ronnie? Noises you made attracted Jenny and she came. What's wrong with you? Seeing her, you rushed towards her. Did you see Rowoon? Is he at your room? What do you mean? She looked confused. Rowoon, isn't he in the living room? You shook your head. Maybe he is in the kitchen. You both rushed to the kitchen. There is no one as well. You ran out of apartment and knocked the next door. There Jungkook used to live. Jungkook, Rowoon, you knocked many times but didn't get any response. Sarang, could it be that Mr. John is not here? Jenny didn't dare to continue. You slowly put your hand down and stopped knocking. Sarang, then Rowoon, you smiled bitterly. He probably took away by his dad. Jenny panicked. What should we do now then? Should we go and bring him back or call your brother? She took out her phone. Stop calling. Your brother was very angry already. If she called and tell about this matter, then wouldn't it be war between? You are not going to fight for your son. She put down her phone. It's okay. He just found about it and he needed time to digest. Rowoon is his son. He will not harm his own son. It took long for Jenny to nod her head understandings, so she bid night and went to her room to sleep. Where is uncle taking me? The little guy who is sitting on the passenger seat spoke with his gentle tone, and the man who is driving, his hands tightened on the steering wheel. Jungkook glanced at sideways. Didn't I say, don't call me uncle, I'm your dad. Jungkook's voice was gentle as well. Rowoon blinked innocently. Jungkook waited patiently for Rowoon to call him dad, but he didn't hear his son calling him. Why didn't you say anything? Rowoon crossed his arms. I don't want to. Why? Mummy didn't tell me that you were my dad. I can't call you. Jungkook couldn't help smiling, but your mummy didn't deny. You see, we all look like same. If I'm not your dad, then who else would be? Rowoon came a little closer to Jungkook to scan his face. Indeed, but he don't want to acknowledge him as his dad. Even though I don't want you to be my dad anymore. The words pierced Jungkook's heart. Why? He stopped the car at red light and looked at little guy. Can you tell me the reason? Why don't you want me as your dad anymore? Jungkook still felt that strange looking at Rowoon. Jiwon was only his family before. Even though it wasn't blood related, still she was close to him, but now he have another blood related family members. It's kind of strange feelings to his heart, but it gave him happiness and excited feeling. Ronnie has always been with mummy. My mummy is the one who take care of me. Dad suddenly came out from nowhere. Why would I need him now? I'm already big. I can take care of my mummy myself now. Ronnie talked like elder and turned his head away, showing his anger. Jungkook became silent. It has been 6 years, but this father never saw his son for once and never fulfilled his responsibility. Then why would his son acknowledge him now? A woman with child, he had already experienced this kind of difficult life before. He knew how sad his life had been at that time. Little guy, Jungkook called out, are you taking your mommy's side? Rowoon snorted. Mommy doesn't need me to talk for her. My mommy is good. Jungkook knew that women is so good for him too. Of course, I know your mommy is good. He said helplessly, but dad isn't a bad person. He sighed, it's my fault not taking care of you for the past 6 years. I apologize. He's ruined now. His emotional feeling has been damaged and he wants his family back. I want to take care of you. I want to make it up. You are not allowed to call me uncle anymore, okay? Ro won't just look away outside the window. Obviously, Jungkook brought him out of house. He didn't even get time to see his mother after a long time and this dad picked him up and walked outside without informing his mother. His mummy's boy after all. Jungkook drives smoothly towards Hejang Villa. He have to talk and coax this child more. Guard opened the gate and let car past. They're surprised to see a little guy sitting on the passenger seat. They whisper gossip to each other in disbelief. Why they never knew that young Master John have a kid? They never saw him holding child now. He brought young child in the villa. What was going on? Jungkook stopped the car and come to Rovon's side and picked him up from the seat to his arms and walked inside the house. Maids are also stunned on the spots when Jungkook walked with kid who looks like him in his arms. Rovon is very obedient child. He didn't cause any trouble for Jungkook. Good evening, young master. Maids greet, bowing their heads. Jungkook nodded and walked towards his room, saying to prepare some dinner for them. Suddenly, black and brown dog jumped around and started to bark, seeing his owner, and started to shake his full body, especially his long tail. For the first time, he is holding his son and walking into his special place, while his dog was following behind barking. It's really hard to describe how he's feeling right now. He suddenly thought of the woman's rare and humble manner. His heart ached for that woman. However, he didn't think much and walked inside the room and put Rovon on the bed. Uncle, it's your dog. Little guy scanned the room. Uncle, will you send me back later? Jungkook couldn't do anything to his child other than giving time to digest the word that he is his dad. It's too late at night. I have told your mommy that you will be staying with dad tonight. Rovon looked at Jungkook seriously. Uncle, did my mommy agree? Looking at the glassy eyes, Jungkook felt guilty and avoided little gazes and smiled. Of course, you can ask your mommy. Rovon tilted his head. Okay then, I want to talk with mommy now. Jungkook nodded and take out his phone, handing it to his son as if he is giving something to his treasure. He is so careful. At this time, his mood became even more subtle. Thank you, uncle. What kind of feeling was this? He thought that this child is the one you gave birth to your ex-husband. He had convinced himself to accept this child for long, but didn't expect it's actually his own bloodline. He realized what was his reaction at the time seeing this child. He was supposed to be overjoyed, but at the end, he vent his anger on that woman. It was clearly his blood, but he was deceived for almost 6 years. He had searched for this woman everywhere. He remembered the way women begged him, pulling his sleeve. Of course, his hurt after all that woman is the one he risked his life to chase after. If he could, he would keep you in his arms and love you. But he did opposite of it now. Uncle, what's the password? Rovon shouted from little far. Jungkook came to his sense and tell him the password of his mother's name.